When you get to live on tour with professional tennis players, you start to understand the commonalities that they all share to become very good at what they do. There's no secret to becoming an absolute superstar of the game. It just takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. But there's 5 key things that all of these players do and are and have become to become who they are. And what I've done is I've listed all 5 here on the board for you to start to understand the things that you can control in your game to become elite at the highest level. So if we think about the professional players are the most elite preparers in the world. They go to bed at the right time, they get up, they have the same routine breakfast, they make sure their rackets are strung, gripped, they get to practice early, not on time, they get there early, they're warmed up, they are mentally in the zone. I think sometimes we think a warm-up or preparation is a little bit of a physical warm-up, but they all get mentally and physically prepared for a really big session or a big match. They are elite at being ready and leaving no stone unturned. And when we talk about preparation, we also talk about how much training they're doing and making sure they're ticking every box, not just some of them, but every box in terms of being ready for something or being ready to perform. The second part about the elite players is that they're just consistent at what they do. They do it day in, day out. There's no day where they're like, oh, it's okay, I can just slack off today. If you want to be good at something, no matter what industry you are in, or you want to be elite at something, just remember there's a lot of competition out there and a lot of people trying to do what you're trying to do. So consistency is going to conquer your competitors. Being consistent at what you do day in, day out. It's the day in, day out gym work. It's the day in, day out mindset work. It's the ability to go on court and tick the boxes every day in what you're doing. The serve practice, the return practice, the movement stuff. Even when you don't feel like doing it, the best players are doing that work. Always remember, there is someone else willing to do the work. If you're not willing to be consistent, you're not willing to make it at the highest level. The third one is resilience. And why I put this in is because when you live with these players day in, day out, you travel the world and that you see what they go through, it is very challenging, whether it be financial strains, whether it be injuries, whether it be something going on in their private life that they've got to overcome, whether it be things that happen on the court that they've got to overcome. They've got this amazing ability to overcome adversity. They have a strong resilience about them that helps them to have this armor to protect them against the tough things that are going to occur. How do we build that? We don't shy away from tough situations. We put ourselves into it. We put ourselves into it in training, in life. We find ways to get better. Being resilient is a really key element of what these players have to make them stand out against the rest. Adaptability. One day you're in Italy playing in 30 degrees, you lose the match, you fly off, which we did in a certain period of our traveling time to Morocco, and it was cold. It was 20 degrees. It was overcast. There was a bit of rain around. Different conditions all the time in our sport. Speeds of court, surfaces of court, opponents, different players that hit different balls. We have to be adaptable. You can't just be a person who likes comfort because we play a sport that is going to make you uncomfortable. So having the ability to adapt to any situation, environment, court, opponent, or country, we have to ensure that we are adaptable people. And the fifth one, and this is one that I think is a really important one, is the best players pay attention to the little details. I had this story of one of the players who was staying at my place, and it was an Australian Open period, and we were struggling with a certain element of his game. And it was interesting to watch because he would sit in the lounge room at night, 11, 12 o'clock at night, watching videos of his practice sessions that we took that day and trying to work out what was different about what he was doing, why did it feel different, why it wasn't working so hard. His attention to detail was incredible. And then the next day he would wake up and say, okay, I know what it is, we're going to work on this, I felt this, I looked at that, and he would come up with his own plan. And it is the ability for us to know that we are trying to get better and we have to find the little 1% things sometimes that make us better. Don't worry about trying to change just your strings or your rackets. It could be your training regime, your breakfast, your warm-up, your cool down, the things that make big differences, like the attention to the small details could make massive difference in your outcomes on the court and your performance. So when we look at the top 5 elements of what the best players have, all of these things are in our control. And if we can understand that all 5 of these elements are in our control, then we can understand that we are capable of achieving what we want to achieve as long as we are willing to put in the work and the dedication and the commitment to excellence on a daily basis.